Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing my top 10 games that are hitting my table currently. Now, just to talk about this topic a little bit, these are not my top 10 games of all time. These are just currently the games that I'm currently playing through and that I'm not getting tired of playing yet. So with that being said, let's jump right into this video by talking about number 10, and that is going to be Welcome Back to the Dungeon. Now, my family and I have been camping quite a bit, and this game has been fantastic just to set up, to take and go. It's super simple. The concept is you either put a monster into the dungeon or you take a monster out of the dungeon, and that way you have to remove an item from the hero that's currently playing for that round. Now, if you're the player that gets stuck going into the dungeon, you hopefully can defeat all the monsters in the dungeon. And if you actively do that twice, then you either win the game, or if you fail to go through the dungeon twice, then you lose the game. Super simple game, super easy to explain and set up. It's a small box game. Speaking about camping, I just have to bring up this channel partner and shout them out because they have an amazing sale going on, and I'm talking about Into the AM. They just dropped a bunch of different t-shirt graphic designs, like the ones that I'm wearing right now. I absolutely love going camping, and I love all the designs that feature campfires or some sort of camping design. It really makes for a great camping t-shirt, and that is what me and my family are doing mostly this summer. So whatever your summer adventures are going to be, I'm sure they have a graphic t-shirt that kind of fits the theme of that adventure. T-shirts feel great, they look great. These are all brand new designs that came out. So check these out and don't miss out on the sale happening right now until July 8th. I'll have all that information for you guys down below. So make sure to check out Into the AM and don't miss out on a great deal. I love Into the AM. They've been a great partner of mine for this channel. They are not sponsoring this video, but I do get a kickback if you guys purchase anything through that link or use my discount code. Thank you guys so much, and let's get back into this video. Speaking about great games to take out camping, I also take out Mindbug. This is a really quick card dueling game if you haven't heard of it. It's honestly super fun, super quick. You're trying to figure out the best way to use your cards and their abilities to defeat your opponent. Each player only gets 3 life points, and all the cards have unique abilities. I have a ton of videos about this game on the channel, so if you want to learn more about this game, check out those videos. But it is just a game that I'm constantly always bringing to the table, so I had to include it on this list. Now, moving away from smaller box games, let's talk about some bigger box games. And for this first one, I'm going to be talking about The Witcher Old World. Now, I absolutely love playing The Witcher Old World. I like playing it at 3 players when I choose to play it rather than solo. I'm currently not the biggest fan of just the base game because I feel like it's kind of repetitive to play it over, just race to get 4 trophies. Then whoever gets them wins. You can switch it up by playing different witchers and different mages and add different monsters, obviously, that come out during the game. And there's different quests you can go on and stuff like that, but it's not, in my opinion, the best way to play this game. My personal favorite way to play this game is with the legendary monsters. Going up against a big boss at the end of the game feels very climactic and fitting for a game for The Witcher. You've been trying to hunt down this monster all game, trying to get strong enough, and then when you're finally strong enough, you can go and face it and hopefully win. Also, the Wild Hunt is also another fantastic expansion for the game because they are technically kind of like the big bad in the Witcher universe. You really don't want to mess with them until you're strong enough. You can play as witchers or mages to change up gameplay. Each of them kind of play slightly differently depending on who you choose, and it's honestly just a blast to play. Definitely recommend picking up those 2 expansions to get the best experience from this game if you don't already own it. Now, if you want to play this at 4 or 5 players, definitely just recommend playing the Wild Hunt expansion. You will definitely save a lot of time playing that expansion because you can all take turns at the same time instead of just waiting for one player to finish their turn before taking your turn. I also really love that this is a deck building game, and the deck is your health in the game, so it shows that the longer the fight drags on, the more tired you're getting. And if you can't combo your cards that well, then you're going to lose the game, which is great in a deck build. But yeah, that is The Witcher Old World. Let me know if you guys have played this. I'm still playing it to this day since I got it, mainly solo, but I do bust it out now and then to play with other players if they want to, but again, no more than 3 players. Spark Riders 3,000. Now, I will be honest, the publisher did send this to me because they thought this would be a great game for me and my family. And I will admit, I think this is a fantastic game for my family and I. Basically, this is a spaceship defense game, tower defense, really, because you're trying to defend your ship from blowing up. It has this awesome board where you kind of put together the spaceship. It's also an app-driven game because the app will tell you where to deploy these enemy spaceships and where they're going to come and attack, and you have to work on defeating them in a certain amount of time before your spaceship kind of blows up. Just trying to put this together quickly to kind of show you guys if you haven't seen it before. Right here. And it goes together like so. So you kind of fit all the pieces in like so. And this is the player board. These are enemy aliens that are coming, and they're going to be attacking different zones on your spaceship. That's based on the app. It's kind of determined on different scenarios that you can play. There are 10 different scenarios. I do have the Commander edition, so this is going to be a little bit more deluxeified, I think, than the retail version. I do not know. I haven't seen that one. What's really cool about these ones, they got awesome miniatures that can move around the board, and they have these guns that you can upgrade. These are super cute in my opinion. So you start off at like this little blaster, then you can upgrade that and give it some more guns and even some more energy, and it kind of clips on just like that, and it kind of rests on the back there when it's fully upgraded. So yeah, you're moving on the board. You are trying to get your shields up. You lose the game, I believe, if the cockpit gets destroyed, the Nexus gets destroyed, and I think even one of your thrusters. I have to double check, but you have to work as a team to defend off the aliens that are attacking your ship. You want to upgrade these special guns, and the way to win is depending on the mission that you're on will determine how long kind of the gameplay is, because you have to reach a certain destination, and the app will tell you if you're getting closer and things like that. And what makes the game a lot of fun is the app actually talks to you. You can talk back to the app. It's really fun for kids, and that is why I play this one a lot, is because my son absolutely loves the sound effects that the app makes. It's really cinematic for him. He thinks he's going on a space adventure. It's just fun for the whole family, and that's why this one hits the table quite a bit. The app really makes the game. Now, if you're not into app-driven games, then this game is probably definitely not for you. But if you have some kids that like space-themed games, then this one's probably definitely worth checking out. Staying on the same topic about games that my kids love to play, my son and I can't stop playing Marvel Zombies. Now, my son is 5 years old. Keep in mind that he's really going through a superhero phase right now, but he absolutely loves playing this game, and I love creating memories with him while playing this game. We pretty much have played through all the scenarios, if not most of them. Some are definitely challenging than others. We haven't really gotten into the extremely hard missions, but when he's older and understands the game and how to be more conservative and hopefully get good dice rolls, you can beat those missions. Otherwise, you can just probably use Thanos and Giant Man and probably win because those characters are OP, but we try not to do that. But he has a blast playing this game, moving the miniatures, rolling the dice. Me trying to tell him not to go there in that house on your last action and spawn a bunch of things, but if that's what he wants to do, I let him do it, and I try to come in and dad saves the day kind of thing. So that's why this one's definitely hitting my table, and this game is my #1 game of all time. I'm a huge Marvel fan, so that is why this game is a big hit in my household. If Marvel's not your theme, then you're not going to enjoy it. There are plenty of other Zombicide games out there with different themes that you'll probably enjoy. Fractured Sky. Now, this is a game that I don't really play with my kids. They don't quite understand the strategic nature about this game, but it's pretty straightforward. I will say the gameplay I thought was a little bit more complex when I first looked at the game. These are just retail components. I just keep them in the box. I don't really need that. I will admit I like this game the most at 4 to 5 players, not 3 players, because at 3 players I do find that it is a little bit more predictable than what the players are going to do, because you are limited in some actions. Now you get these awesome component spaceships. I shouldn't say spaceships, they're airships. I do have the deluxe edition of the game, so the components are upgraded and you have these awesome trays, but you also have these awesome flying airships that you use You only get 3 of them. So in the early rounds, there's a lot of stall falls. So it's kind of luck based on who kind of earns the stall falls, because you have to have the most amount of troops in that area to win the star pieces. Now, in the later rounds, there's less star fall pieces to go for, so everyone's going to be gunning for the same area, and that's usually when you want to bust out your higher numbers and start trading in resources to get these, what are these called? Smaller ships, schemers. I think that's what these are called, troops in, or add in different buildings to get you +1 to gain advantage, so a 5 becomes a 6. Add 2 more of these in there by spending resources. Now that 6 turns into like an 8, and that's a very good number to win in a certain area. And if you divide that up into 2 different spots, then you can possibly win both spots. But you do need a lot of resources for that, so you want to be building different markets to gain resources every single round. There's a little bit of strategy and thinking when it comes to where you should build your markets. You definitely want to find spots that connect to different islands. But for the most part, I think this game is best played at 4 to 5 players. It's currently hitting the table quite a bit because we do like the game, but only at that 4 to 5 player count. I haven't played it 2 to 1, so I can't speak on that. But 3 players, it kind of is like not as fun, I feel like, because it's kind of more predictable on what the other players are going to do in those later rounds. Pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. But if you're into area control games, check out Fractured Sky. Moving on to another small box game, which is not really a game. It's an expansion for a game that I've been playing a lot of. And that is for Wonderland War, Shards of Madness. Now there's actually kind of 2 expansions in one, because you don't have to add everything that you get with this expansion into the game, but you might as well. Now pretty much what this expansion does is it allows you to set up the game differently. You can actually start with a Wonderlandian character instead of not having any. Now this will determine if you start with less or more supporters as well. Now this game is a ton of fun to play. I will say that some of the Wonderlandian cards are definitely more overpowered than others, but if you know how to unlock your abilities for your character and hopefully know when to push your luck and when to hold back, you can definitely earn the victory. Now, with this expansion, I also got the 2 new characters that got reworked, which was the Mad Hatter and the Jabberwocky character. Both are fantastic. The Mad Hatter is not as powerful as he was before, and the Jabberwocky is now able to place out more poison tokens onto the cards that you would draft during the Tea Party phase, which definitely helps his character out a lot. Definitely think that no matter what character you choose, they're very unique and very capable of winning. But if you have Wonderland War and you're thinking about getting this expansion, I would think it's worth it, but not necessarily needed to enjoy the game. Now getting down to the last few games here, this list is pretty much not in any particular order, but this other game I have a blast playing. It's kind of new, very different style game that I'm used to because it's kind of more programming, and that is Tamashii Chronicles of Ascend. This is Awaken Well light game. Now what's cool about this one is you're moving pieces around your, I believe it's called control panel, to determine certain actions that you can do. There's different scenarios that you can play, and depending on the scenario will dictate if it's more of a cooperative mission or you can play competitively as well. Absolutely love the cyberpunk theme. Love how there is a unique story that's kind of being unfolded as you play through the different scenarios. Now, you can set up a scenario and just play through it if you want, but it kind of makes sense to where you end in certain scenarios to where you start at another one. Now, depending on if you win or lose a scenario as well, there's stuff in this game that can get unlocked to either make the game a little bit easier or maybe a little bit harder, depending if you are just too good at the game, which I have not beat every single scenario on the first try of this game. So getting some of those better weapons and stuff like that is definitely awesome. And you can jump into different bodies as well. If you're into that type of theme game, then I definitely think Tamashii is something you should definitely check out. All right, for this next game, it's probably the biggest game that I actually own, next to Oathsworn, which I'll talk about in just a minute. And that's not just based off component wise. This is an all-in pledge that I got, and that is Divinus. And this is the Chest of Plenty pledge. So this is a legacy campaign game. I'm a super fan of Greek mythology and Norse mythology, so I thought this was a great game to pick up. It's by Lucky Duck Games. This is like a legacy campaign game, so you do kind of have to play with the same amount of players that you start with. I wouldn't say anything's really too complicated about it. You're rolling dice, you're placing down tiles. You do have to make some decisions here and there. I can't really talk about it without spoiling it too much. I will think that Destinies is a slightly better game. It definitely has a better story in my opinion. This is Greek demigods versus Norse demigods, and you're trying to gain favor between them. And depending on how you do that will dictate how kind of the game unfolds a little bit. It's not too complicated. It's a pretty easygoing game. I'm excited to see where this ends. But if you want to see a full review for this game, make sure to be subscribed because I'll definitely do a full review once I complete the game. Yeah, that's Divinus, Chest of Plenty. It's a huge box. So it kind of can't fit on my shelf. So I don't really kind of just keep it on the floor over here. One big box down, another big box to go. If I compare these boxes, just for example, yeah, this Divinus is definitely taller. Anyways, pushing this off to the side, I got Oathsworn. I don't really want to tip this over and knock everything out, so I'll give you guys a top-down view. Oathsworn, Into the Deep Wood. Honestly, you can probably hear everyone talk about this game. It's a fantastic boss battler game. It's a campaign that you're playing through. It has two phases. One where you're exploring a certain city, and there's like this time that gets reduced every time you try to like make a decision and go somewhere. So you might not get a chance to explore everything that you need. You're trying to find clues, you're trying to go to the shop, upgrade weapons, things like that. And then by the end of the story, you go into this big epic fight against a boss. I'm currently only on I think I'm still currently in chapter 8. I had to switch to play this one solo because I couldn't keep a game group together based off of my schedule, being a dad with kids that have things going on, getting sick, things like that. It's just hard to keep a game group together for me right now. But I'm playing through it solo because I love this game. I can't wait to finish it. I have a long way to go still, but it's a fantastic game that I keep trying to play. Let me know what games you guys are currently playing in the comment section down below. What games are currently hitting your table more often? And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.